Redezeit umgegangen bin. Bitte schön. Herr Kalfin.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Commissioners, Mr. Minister. I would like to tell you that the European Parliament's report on the MFF doesn't have a small script. We have said very clearly everything we wanted to say at this stage to the Council. And the role of this report is also very clear. To inform the Council, because the heads of states and governments gather at the end of November, and before Mr. Van Rompuy begins consultations with the Member States, to say what is the position of the Parliament on the next financial framework. Because the treaty says that the European Council can only adopt a decision if the agreement of the European Parliament comes there. So in order to facilitate the debates in the Council, in order to inform in advance what is the position of the Parliament, we have prepared this report, and we hope that this is going to be voted with a very vast majority today. This report is very clear, consistent, and generates a very huge support as all the positions since nearly 2 years of the European Parliament on the next MFF. We have been working in the SURE committee, as Mr. Böge mentioned. We have been adopting different resolutions in the Parliament, and we have shown a very great cross-party unity across the major principles of the next budget. And the major principle is that this is an instrument. This is not an accounting exercise. This is an instrument to achieve political goals, to apply the provisions of the treaty, and to make the European Union viable. I also want to thank very much the Commission, especially Vice President Šefčovič and Commissioner Lewandowski, and the Presidency. The Cypriot Presidency, like the presidencies before, have done an excellent job to include the Parliament this time in the decision-making of the Council. At least we had the possibility to very clearly express our opinion. And also my thanks go to you, Mr. President of the Parliament, and all the colleagues that have been working on this issue, because, again, that's an issue which unites very much this House and makes our voice stronger. I want to very briefly touch on 4 points related to the budget. First is the size of the budget. I have to start by saying that the Commission's proposal is not sufficient to finance all the political ambitions that the European Union has set. And this is very clear. We have to be aware that the procedure for the next multi-annual financial framework happens in a very difficult context. We have 2 challenges: the confidence in the European Union and the ability of the European Union to solve its problems, and the necessity to make fiscal cuts and fiscal consolidation at national level. But let's see what is the rationale for the European budget. First, it's not generating deficit. That means that all the rationale to consolidate the national budgets due to overspending in previous years doesn't hold at European level. Even further, the European budget makes what national budgets cannot do in these difficult times. This is an investment budget. It makes everything that the national budgets are not able to do because of the constraints. And second, talking about the confidence in the European Union. This budget has a meaning because of the leverage, because of the additional funds that it attracts into investments in the Member States. 94% of the budget goes back to the Member States. And it attracts several times more investments. So €1 cut by the European budget would mean several euro cut for national, regional, agricultural competition policies. And we have to be clear when we speak about the size of the budget. Very often we hear from representatives of the governments that the citizens do not accept a higher European budget. We have to point them out that we have the same voters. And the citizens expect from the European institutions and from the national institutions to be together and to propose a mechanism which is going to propose an exit from the economic crisis, a creation of growth and jobs, and using all the instruments both at national and at European level. So I would not oppose the national to the European institutions in this case. We have a common interest. We are working for the citizens of the European Union. And if some governments need to go back to the basic questions, do we need more Europe? Can we do something better at European level, at the national level? Are we able to set common goals and to fulfill them? then we are ready to re-enter this debate if it is not clear for some governments. Of course, and Mr. Björgen mentioned about the flexibility of the budget. In a constrained budget, this is not a technical term, the flexibility. This is the possibility to really deploy the resources in the most efficient way in order to achieve the goals that we have set. Few words on the priorities and the content of the budget. We have the traditional policies, but we have to make sure that for the next 7 years the European budget is stimulating the growth, the creation of growth and the creation of jobs across Europe. And this is the function of the European budget. We are ready to take on board all the ideas related to better spending, to a more efficient spending of the European budget. But we need this budget in order to create jobs and in order to create growth, especially for young people. And we have heard many times the President of the European Commission also speaking in this House about youth unemployment. Finally, one sentence about the procedure. I want to say it here in the plenary, something that we have said many times to the presidencies. The MFF considers two procedures, the consent procedure for the MFF-related issues and the codecision procedure for nearly 70 legal basis documents. We don't want to see that the Council takes a decision on the codecision procedure, which is the right of the Parliament. We are going to insist on the right of this House to properly negotiate with the Member States and with the Council on all the documents related to codecision. Thank you very much, President.
Vielen Dank, Herr Kalfin. Für Sie gilt das Gleiche, was ich Herrn Böge gesagt habe. Ne? Das Wort hat jetzt der Vorsitzende des Haushaltsausschusses, Herr Kollege Lamassoure.
Merci, Monsieur le Président, et merci pour les mots aimables que vous venez de prononcer à l'égard de notre délégation.